Greetings to our virtual audience, joining us from various time zones all across the globe. I am Gordon Brown, Public Affairs Coordinator at the Office of Utilities Regulation, OUR, in Jamaica. Let me assure you that the person speaking is real. On your screen is an actual person, not a computer-generated image crafted using artificial intelligence. I am not pixels generated by AI software. Well, not yet. Thank you for joining this webinar titled Artificial Intelligence and Your Utility Services. Is there synergy? There are numerous variations and uses of artificial intelligence, AI. Our scope here will be limited to the new realm of AI being adopted for delivering and regulating utility services for the benefit of all. Our first presenter will be Dr. Nadine Barrett-Maitland. She has been lecturing on artificial intelligence for nearly 13 years. She is a senior lecturer at the School of Computing at the University of Technology, UTech, in Jamaica. She speaks and writes widely on the topic of AI, both locally and internationally. Next will be Leighton Hamilton, OUR's Director for Information Technology and Risk. Mr. Hamilton has been in IT throughout the evolution from card reader capable computers to AI technology. His portfolio also includes OUR's Quality Management Systems, QMS, and he was pivotal to OUR achieving ISO 9001 certification in December 2015. Our final presenter will be Cheryl Lewis, one of OUR's 3 Deputy Directors General. Her portfolio of responsibilities covers consumer and public affairs as well as legal affairs. Notably, Ms. Lewis was at the helm of Jamaica embracing liquefied natural gas LNG in the electricity sector. She has also lectured internationally on Jamaica's experience with LNG and other regulatory matters. Dr. Barrett-Maitland, we are delighted that you accepted our invitation to join this panel as a subject matter expert on artificial intelligence, AI. I'll hand over to you now, Dr. Barrett-Maitland.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. Good morning, audience locally and overseas. My task today is to just give a brief overview on artificial intelligence, the application and implementations. Now, artificial intelligence, what is artificial intelligence? It is a science of and engineering of making intelligent machines, especially intelligent computer programs. It focuses on using computers to understand human intelligence. A leading definition, academic definition, that is used by the leading publishers of artificial intelligence, a modern artificial intelligence. It says several researchers have looked and tried to coin a definition for AI. When they have completed, they said artificial intelligence varies along 2 dimensions, cognitive and behavior, where you either think rationally, act rationally, or you think humanly and act humanly. The father of computer science, Alan Turing, one of his main points is that he says, can the computer think? Now, a working definition of artificial intelligence, based on my experience and readings, artificial intelligence is about decisions. We make decisions every day. Human beings make decisions based on things that are embedded in your mind. So from you were very small, you would have made some decisions. Based on that, you would react today based on what is happening. So for example, if you put your hand on something that is hot, you would remove it quickly. That was embedded somewhere in your mind. Artificial intelligence combines computer science and robust data sets to enable problem solving. It encompasses several subfields such as machine learning, deep learning, natural language processing algorithms. And along with machine language and deep learning, it seeks to create expert systems which make or classify data given a particular data set. Natural language processing converts human language into machine readable language. So that is how an intelligent agent would be able to carry out some instructions given to it. I believe artificial intelligence is a game changer. Today, we have a lot of talk about ChatGTP, which is a large language model. The cornerstone of ChatGTP is a generative pre-trained transposer. Some of the 10, I am looking at the 10 top models and their main uses, some of the main uses. So Wondershare, it can be used to compose text, script, and other type of content in the creative industry. We have seen artificial intelligence have been in all domains today because of the development of artificial intelligence. It began years before World War II. It came to the core after 1956, but in recent times we are seeing, a lot of artificial intelligence systems that are used to do several things. It can help educators to make lesson plans, do evaluation. It can assist both students and lecturers. Bloom's AI suggests a unique idea while you write. So you may be writing an essay, you may be writing a composition, you may be just drafting a poem or something. It gives you some ideas of how you could do it. Mixing AI and technology with traditional writing methods. That's what that tool does. It aims to help you to become a better writer. Now, Bing Chat is an alternative for ChatGPT, where real-time data and references, you get real-time data and references. Google Bard AI, real-time data and references also. Now students can use this to test the soundness or accuracy of their responses. And it can force you to think outside of the box, not only students, business persons, organizations. We see later where we have, for example, Jasper AI, and it helps you in work. So you can create blogs. It provides social media updates, what is happening on social media, website written content and other type of contents. AI on social media, you can use AI on social media for content analysis. So when you see, for example, you may go on Facebook or mainly on Facebook and other social media platforms, you may see the FBI turn up at somebody's door. Content analysis can be used to detect some special statements or special words used within messages and so on. And it can alert you that, okay, something is going on here. This person has sent a threat and so on. That is how AI is working. And that has been here for a long time, but we are seeing where it is being used more now. ChatGTP can assist with us drafting memos, writing reports, proposal writing, business plans. It can assist in a myriad of business activities. Some tech companies have developed some AI-generated products for more effective and productive workplace. For example, Amazon, Box, Salesforce, Oracle, and many other tech companies have developed some artificial intelligence tools that can be used. Now, new AI features for we have new AI features for human resource teams. They can use that to assist in the old human resource processes. Microsoft has invested 13 million in OpenAI, Azure OpenAI. Now, this is a version of ChatGTP where customers can write their own version of ChatGTP. According to John Montgomery, by May 2023, there were over 4,500 new customers they were using Azure Open AI services. Now, Character AI is a web-based platform and API for AI-powered word generators. You can use it as a developer to write when you're writing and seeking new ideas. So ChatGPT, we can use chat and other large language models. The buzz is around ChatGPT because it came out last year, November, and most persons are, but there are other large language models. But the main aim of these models is to generate ideas, not for us to use it as a end all, because there are nuances as it relates to those models. The same information that was, so we call the information on the internet, we call it the internet crude, that consists of a large subset of it is data that is not good. So the data that is placed in the large language models are done by human beings who would sift this data. We would call it clean the data and update the knowledge base on what you would want customers or persons to get, right? We have something we call deep mind, the potential to transform business practices and improve customer relationships. Artificial intelligence allows that. People use it in marketing. So we are seeing where, for example, the metaverse, something that we are looking at today that can be used as a marketing tool in tourism, in the creative industry, in education. It helps to support decision making. So decision makers can now make informed decisions based on information. But what it does, it allows you to do it at a faster rate. So there are some things, for example, machine learning is employed because it allows you to do these things at a faster rate than it would be possible for humans. Lawyers are using these tools to assist them in their research, but we must be aware that there are some drawbacks as it relates to that. Physicians also use AI to make more data-driven, for a more data-driven approach to healthcare. So we have smart healthcare, or smart watches that we wear every day, right? It can improve the overall operation of healthcare systems. It can benefit stakeholders in the healthcare ecosystem. We have the multinomics approach where researchers are using it for cell to assist with analysis of conditions that are happening in the cells. You can predetermine some things at a faster rate today. The AI industry said, healthcare industry said that it will reach 137 billion by 2029. Mobile apps and computers today, everything, we have an app. AI is behind most of those things. Now, things like Siri and other bots that are used, the tools, software tools, they are generated. Artificial intelligence is a part of those systems. AI algorithms use natural language processing and machine learning and deep learning in word processors. We are taught how to write English and punctuate or paragraphs or essays, just like we were taught when we were in school. Chat boxes are trained in conversational style manner where they can be used as customer representatives. There are 4 types of AI. We have reactive machines, which is the first stage, limited memory and theory of the mind. Reactive machines are the simplest forms where you just take an input and give your output. Reactive machines, you use them to download, to trade, and so on. Limited memory now, which is the second stage where we are in an advanced stage of AI, where information is stored, where you can use it to make more complex decisions, right? Store previous data for predictions, use to store data to make better predictions. Model can be deployed as reactive machines. Machine learning is built into the structure. Models are trained and renewed upon usage. So it adds to the knowledge base, it adds to what is there. So it assists you to make better decisions. And this is the cycle, the life cycle of it. So you train the data, you build the machine language model, you make predictions, and feedback is now sent back into the database, and it now becomes a part of the data set. Theory of the mind, that's in the early stages. For example, we have some self-driving cars coming up and so on. We have some humanoid robots in Hong Kong. England has come out with one. The current models have a one-way relationship though, right? But the self-aware one, that is the fourth stage, it's non-existent yet. We say it's in the movies, right? So those are storybook and movie things. Thank you. Thank you for listening. And it's over to Mr. Brown. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you so much, Dr. Nadine Barrett-Maitland. That was quite an interesting presentation, and we will be coming back to talk about a few points in just a little while. However, OUR prioritizes stakeholder inclusion to ensure we get perspectives from the 4 major utility providers. OUR requested videos from Digicel, Flow, JPS, and NWC. A utility executive from each of these 4 major utility providers will share their organization's use of AI in customer service and operations. We now share the Digicel video with Antoinette Hears, Head of Department, Network and Engineering at Digicel Jamaica.
Hi, I'm Antoinette Hears, the Head of Department for the Network Engineering team here at Digicel Jamaica. As Jamaica's digital operator, Digicel is at the forefront of creating a better connected Jamaica by exploring possibilities that digital technologies have to offer. These include artificial intelligence, AI, as a tool to enhance our interactions and customer service delivery. Digicel sees opportunities in artificial intelligence as a new way for understanding our customers' demands and preferences and then quickly making changes to meet their expectations. Already, AI is upping the interaction with our customers through our chatbot Ruby, which is made available in our My Digicel app on their smartphones. In addition, the use of AI is supporting our monitoring and managing our sophisticated system through thorough real-time analysis of industry trends, customer behavior, and usage expectations. As a result, these insights help us to determine resource allocation as part of our enhanced customer service promise. Further, home automation is made easier through our Everywhere LTE and fiber to the home service, empowering our customers to live with confidence. And through a network of systems and sensors, we get AI-powered information at our fingertips, which help us to keep our most precious assets secured. With its wealth of possibilities, AI proliferation and advancement will depend on sophisticated networks like Digicel to make it meaningful to all Jamaicans. This moment in time is as profound as when Digicel took Jamaica on a giant leap into the world of advanced mobile communication 22 years ago. Today, AI is doing that by taking us on another amazing technological journey where Digicel is ready to take Jamaica into the digital future.
That was from Digicel. And viewers, you would have noted that AI is already in use at Digicel. Further developments are expected in the future. To highlight aspects of potential impact on OUR's IT, risk, and QMS quality management systems portfolios, we have Leighton Hamilton, Director, Information Technology and Risk at OUR. Mr. Hamilton, please go ahead.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the adoption of AI in a utility regulator. And we're specifically going to focus on information technology risk and management systems. The OUR AI, let's be very clear. AI is not automation. AI is more than that. AI is not the end of humanity, because people predicting doom and gloom. AI is as powerful as the data that you give it. That is, whatever is in ChatGPT or in Barb, whatever they have as a data source, is the information that is pulled and given back to you. AI is a business disruptor. It is in the same class as when we used to have typewriters and went to personal computers. Change the landscape. AI is just that. Now, if you look at the OUR, the OUR is a knowledge-based organization. We use technology to improve our efficiency and effectiveness in delivering our mandate. The processing of data is critical to the OER making decisions and making determinations and instructing licensees as to directions they want the country to go in. Now, all of these, when you look at AI, has pros and cons as it relates to the OUR. There also have to be risks. There are risks associated with bringing in AI, and we at OUR have to put in the mitigating actions to cover those risks. Now, all of these will impact the Information Technology Department, which I head, and information technology infrastructure of the OUR, which is critical to its operation. And there's also a direct impact in the management system and governance of the OUR. Now, let's look at the pros and cons. The positives are increased efficiency because we'll be able to process a lot more data. So in terms of our data analytics, we currently receive information from our licensees to determine the efficiency and effectiveness of the licensees and to ensure that the consumers of Jamaica get the best service possible. AI allows us to personalize information. So if we use it internally or we're looking at external licensees, it can be tuned to those industries, such as we are regulators of 3 sectors: electricity, water, and telecommunications. And each of them are unique in their own way. Some things are similar, some things are not. We look at improving customer service, and the customer service is not the customers of licensees, it's our customers. Persons who come to us for any kind of service, whether it's an appeal process, whether it's the actual licensees who may have issues with our action determination, or even if there's activity between licensees that need resolving. That is our role internally. Those are our customers. And we need to improve how we respond to our customers and what kind of service we can offer these customers. There is cost reduction. Now, cost reduction is, as with anything, usually relates to everybody thinks about job losses. But with AI, there's going to be job losses, but with that, there's also going to be new jobs created, not yet defined, as with what I highlighted earlier. When we went from personal typewriters to computers, the skill sets of individuals changed dramatically. But what are the negatives? AI is going to cost money. It is technology. It is new technology. It's innovative technology, not yet known. So it is going to cost money. So there's going to be an increase in the cost of implementing any AI system. There's going to be job displacement, disruption, and displacement disruption shouldn't be looked upon as a negative. Looking at, in the past, we used to have people answering the phone as operators. No, we don't need to. With innovation comes disruption. There are privacy concerns. Privacy concerns because now you have a lot of data on individuals, which may be and can be used maliciously against persons or even against organizations. It can also be used to attack the licensees that we also regulate, because we gather information from them. So we have to be very concerned about privacy of the data of our licensees. There's no, with AI, it gets to our zeros and ones. So the human emotion, the human interaction, the human presence is not felt. And that is a concern, and that will have to be answered in sensitization. In this world now, I think some of us older folks are used to talking on the telephone with personal contacts. The younger generation are comfortable in texting. So they are not adverse as some of us older or us older persons. And then there's this ethical consideration. And this is a negative because now you have a lot of information being seen by a very few people, and it can be used in a very, very destructive way. Now, this now forces the organization to look at the risks associated with bringing in AI. With more information, it requires significant amount of data security. Given that Jamaica, as of the 1st of November, will be enforcing the Data Protection Act, it becomes also crucial to ensure that we secure the data and all the data that we're going to be collecting. Since with AI, we can now collect a significantly lot more data for analysis purposes. There's also a bias to AI systems. Now, AI systems are not created by themselves in a vacuum. They're created by individuals who have personal preferences, personal ideas. And so there can be a bias in how AI systems operate. There can be a bias in how it delivers solutions. So that has to be looked at in terms of when we have systems, what biases we have to consider. There's also, as I said, job displacement. We have to look at over-reliance on AI can cause issue of person not thinking and letting the system do things and then blame the system. There are monitoring enforcement issues that we have to look at. And regulatory compliance becomes key because countries around the world are now looking at regulating AI, and we have to now make sure that we conform to those issues. Now, impact on information technology. We talk about data security. Cybersecurity is an ongoing risk, and that does increase with more data. There's a physical security. With AI comes with situations such as facial recognition. So it can be used for those kind of things. But that requires increase in equipment. That means increased funding to the IT department, increased training for the skills of the person in the IT department, and even more persons in the IT department may be required. They also need to look at governance framework and information surveillance. And finally, we look at the governance systems. OUR, as Gordon said earlier, we are ISO certified. So we conform to a certain international best practice. With AI, we can become more nimble, more productive, but we have to look at the reputation of the organization, which AI could impact significantly. And we also need to look at AI governance policy and procedure that the government of Jamaica may bring in that may govern how we operate. I'd like to thank you, and I hand back to you, Gordon.
Thank you very much, Mr. Hamilton. We will get back to you on some points that you raised during the Q&A segment, where we will take a collection of questions and comments from the global audience. Viewers, if you just joined us, you are watching a very timely webinar titled artificial intelligence and your utility services. Is there synergy? Hosted by the Office of Utilities Regulation in Jamaica. Take note of these two items from Mr. Hamilton's presentation, though. Job cuts and data privacy concerns from the pros and the cons section. Another noteworthy concern he raised is reputational risk. We will go to those a little bit further down, but right now, we have a video from Flow. Here is Charles Douglas, Senior Manager, Regulatory Affairs at Cable and Wireless Jamaica Limited, in Jamaica known as Flow.
This webinar is very timely since artificial intelligence has become the subject of much public debate. With the explosion, for example, of ChatGPT, more and more people are becoming aware of its power, and some of them are very happy, but others are quite concerned. Artificial intelligence refers to the simulation of human intelligence by machines that are programmed to think and learn like humans. With the use of these machines equipped by AI, Flow has been able to use machines to perform tasks and recognize challenges and make decisions to help solve customers' problems. Take our call center, for example. When one calls the call center, they may interact with a virtual assistant or a bot, which provides them customer support, can retrieve information that the customer requires, often to the resolution of their query. Of course, the bot is also smart enough to hand off the call to a live agent, depending on what is required, so that the customer may be assisted. Flow also used bots to send customer notifications related to rebates, outages, and other types of information. Besides using AI to enhance our customer services and our real-time response to customer queries, we use AI in our networks. We use AI to support network optimization, in which case it analyzes network data, it predicts traffic patterns, and also optimizes the network, which leads to better coverage, faster data speeds, and less downtime. And we also use AI in our network security. AI algorithms are used to analyze vast amounts of data to identify security threats, monitor anomalies, and strengthen our cybersecurity measures. So as you can see, AI is being put to good use within our network, within our business. We anticipate that we will continue to use it to improve our delivery of services to customers into the foreseeable future. We're happy for the discussion in the webinar, and we trust that you'll have a very good discussion. Thank you very much.
That was Charles Douglas from Flow, and you would have noticed in his presentation that you realize that Flow is already using artificial intelligence in a number of forms. However, to keep us mindful of the impact on artificial intelligence, AI, on OUR's regulatory role, protecting the sometimes diametrically opposed interests of utility consumers and the utility providers, here is Cheryl Lewis, Deputy Director General, Consumer and Public Affairs, as well as Legal Affairs at OUR. Over to you, Counsel.
Thank you, Gordon, and welcome to everyone to this webinar. As indicated previously, it is timely, and we will now have my presentation. Right. So you have heard exciting things about artificial intelligence and its use generally and in the utility industry so far. But as a general reminder, just the various types of artificial intelligence that are practically being used is the extracting of information from pictures, that is computer vision, transcribing or understanding spoken words, speech to text and natural language processing, pulling insights and patterns out of written text, that's the natural language understanding, speaking what has been written, text to speech, natural language processing, autonomously moving through spaces based on its senses, that's robotics, and generally looking for patterns in large amounts of data, and that's machine learning. We see the adoption of AI across all sectors of businesses, but particularly in the utility industry. As indicated prior by all the other presenters, AI ability to process large volume of data, identify trends and anomalies, makes it a useful tool in every business process. And it is deemed that AI will drive efficiency, competitiveness, and provide some customer value. In one instance, it was reported that after deployment of AI, the employees became more productive, their decision-making processes improved, and it made the business processes more efficient. A number of businesses are currently evaluating and testing AI to transform their business operations, to enhance customer relationships, and to actually build new business models. We have heard about Flow just before now, indicating that they improve customer engagement through chatbots and personalized messages. I mean, we see that from JPS and from Digicel as well. We see the utilities sending us personalized message. This is an output from an AI deployed tool. There's also the demand side management, where the companies are able to identify customers' energy use. When customers use these efficient appliances, we all want the smartest of things in our homes nowadays. And so the Internet of Things, it is called, we can have an efficient use of, say, electricity in our spaces. And on the other side, the utility company can know how much energy we are using on an individualized basis rather than using a guesstimate. There's also the smart meters and other smart devices, which we have. Those are powered in some regard by AI. They also enhance regulatory compliance, as previously indicated. Better network system planning gives you load information, and it is also deployed in network management. Network optimization is another feature to prevent outages and improve reliability of network. They predict network congestion and proactively reroute traffic to avoid outages. I've also seen an instance of predictive maintenance of infrastructure, where a company in the US, an energy company, deployed drones to examine it and inspect its transmission and distribution assets, whereas it would have to normally rely on humans driving all over the place. It was able to do so in a much shorter period of time. There's also the creation of new service offerings and products, because AI is able to help to identify customer trends. They're able to identify the anomalies, etc. There's also cost-effective programs or high bill alerts to customers. I included here just to show you that increasingly top businesses are including AI in their operations. However, there are some challenges with AI. In an open letter from key AI experts as late as March 2023, this year, signatories, including engineers from Amazon, DeepMind, Google, Meta, Microsoft, and Elon Musk from OpenAI, wrote a letter indicating the following. And I think it's important for us to read it, because then we will have a framework within which we can then put the legislative and regulatory framework in place. Contemporary AI systems are now becoming human competitive at general tasks. And we must ask ourselves, Should we let machines flood our information channels with propaganda and untruth? Should we automate away all the jobs, including the fulfilling ones? Should we develop non-human minds that might eventually outnumber, outsmart, obsolete, and replace us? Should we risk the loss of control of our civilization? Such decisions must not be delegated to unelected tech leaders. Powerful AI systems should be developed only once we are confident that their effects will be positive and their risks will be manageable. This confidence must be well justified and increase with the magnitude of a system's potential effect. OpenAI's recent statements regarding artificial general intelligence state that at some point it may be important to get independent review before starting to train future systems, and for the most advanced efforts to agree to limit the rate of growth of compute's use for creating new models. We agree that point is now. And so we now have our utility services integrating AI in its operations. The utility service we consider essential services that play a vital role in the economic and social development of any modern economy. They are key drivers. They're also key production factors, and their availability and reliability are critical components. They provide us with connectivity throughout the world for our businesses and for social and entertainment reasons. As you've heard before, AI thrives on data. And because AI thrives on data in the regulatory sphere, if there are not rules in place, there is an issue of lack of transparency. And we have what is called the black box issue. The black box issue is essentially where the AI itself and its processes are not subject to any scrutiny whatsoever. So its input is not subject to scrutiny. How it develops and comes to a decision is not subject to scrutiny. And sometimes AI generates unexpected outputs, and even the human scientists and developers are not clear as to why. We had a most recent example with ChatGPT just about, I think it's February, March of this year, where there was a legal case in the United States. And in the presentation of their submissions, cases were quoted and cited, only to find out that those cases were non-existent. So we have to be careful. As highlighted before by Leighton, I won't go into the biases and the discrimination. There's also privacy and security concerns. The dependence on AI, the over-reliance on AI will lead to a loss of creativity, critical thinking skills, and human intuition. We are where we are because of the human mind. We are innately advanced. And so because AI is data-driven and is fed with the data, which is just current experiences or past experiences, we need a forward thinking. Can AI give us a forward thinking approach, which is sometimes necessary within the regulatory framework? There are also legal and regulatory challenges by the development of AI. It is rapid progress. Can we keep up? And that is a challenge for us. The loss of human connections, especially within the Jamaican context, is very, very challenging. We find that in the Jamaican context, face-to-face is what is the preference. Now we have AI being deployed just about everywhere. Persons are feeling disconnected. There's diminished empathy. AI can't have that sort of human connection and empathy, which is necessary sometimes in the circumstances. There's misinformation and manipulation of AI in that sometimes it generates false content and publicizes it. How is that to be taken into consideration? And of course, it would be remiss of me if I did not mention the existential risk that projected in the future artificial intelligence is deemed to surpass human intelligence, and it raises really some long-term risks. So the regulator has a duty, and with the various jurisdictions, particularly UK and the USA and the European Union, they have been grappling with this issue as to how to regulate AI. The UK has come up with an approach for 5 guiding principles that can be deployed throughout its public service and throughout the UK as to how the AI ought to be deployed. And of course, the first one speaks to data security and safety and the robustness from cyber attacks and any digital attacks that may potentially occur. There's the issue of also apparent transparency. A regulator is to ensure that the information that it gets from its entities that it regulates has an appropriate level of transparency. How was this data arrived at? I mean, can it be trusted? The data should be fair, present a fair approach. It should not be innately biased or produce discriminatory results. There should be some levels of accountability and governance as to how the data is actually used. And AI, and so the information coming out of AI should reflect this provision. There's also the issue of contestability, where the AI and within its development, design, and decision-making cannot be contested by anyone. It just simply makes a decision. Will there be redress for this sort? Who is liable for wrong information? That concept has to now be ingrained in our regulator's consciousness. And when the regulator is now operating with the licensees, the licensees must also bear these principles in mind. When an idea was that all of these should be enshrined in legislation. But for now, because of the rapid development, it was thought better that there should be a flexibility to exercise judgment and context. The principles of the data protection should also be guiding us. Fairness again, transparency, purpose limitation, minimization of accumulation of data, ensuring accuracy, accountability, storage, and security. So what could be some possible responses to this data-driven era and from data that might not be trustworthy? One response could be the necessity for a certification of the quality and the content of the data. We could also have standards for identifying AI-generated content to ensure that the reader is alerted that this information contained AI-generated content and which ought to be checked. There should be clear definition, disclosure, and labeling of what constitutes solely AI-generated work and work made with the intervention of human creators. The output from generative AI should be cited appropriately and checked for accuracy using awareness of context and human judgment. In the context of the regulator, as indicated, we get a lot of data. We also, when we get the data from the regulated entities, we usually ask for their models and their assumptions so that we can delve into the model to see that the assumptions are correct, that the output so that when we look at the output and they make our determinations, we are clear that it is a well-reasoned and accurately cited, accurately conformed data that we are dealing with. And if assumptions are wrong, then we can go ahead and make our correction and indicate such to the regulated entity. If generative AI is used and without these quality controls and quality checks, then it would be problematic on the face of it. There should also be within the OUR and within each regulated entity employee sensitization. Never put companies' commercial or sensitive information or personal data into an AI in order to get information out. You remember, we don't know how the AI will use this information subsequently, and your company or the regulator may be at risk. We will have to sensitize staff to use appropriate care. Think before you use the AI-enabled tools. Another issue for the companies which we'll have to look at: customer consent is required for use of information. Should it be passive consent or active consent? Should the companies indicate to opt in? Let's allow the customers to opt in rather than the default position being consent. That has to be now a debate which has to take place. For the OUR, we have to approach the situation on a risk-based basis, where we monitor risk to monitor the risk using AI in the provision and the delivery of services to customers. The risk-based approach will also involve a review of the regulatory framework to address breaches and non-observance of the guiding principles. We will also encourage businesses to utilize and harness the benefits of AI to become more efficient, because that would mean less cost to the consumer and less regulatory cost to the regulator. And of course, there must be a regulatory agility where we are able to forward think, to meet the changing circumstances, to implement new views, new regulatory governance framework in order to address the challenges. I thank you so very much for listening, and hope have a good day.
Thank you so much, Ms. Lewis, DDG, for that crucial information. Viewers, you can post your comments and queries in the chat on OER's Facebook and YouTube channels. We will ask panelists to respond in the Q&A segment to your queries, to your comments. We now move to Catherine Archie, Manager, Business Intelligence and Analytics at the Jamaica Public Service Company Limited, JPS, for her video.
So here at JPS, as we strive to be the Center of Excellence in Technology for the Caribbean, we have already started to embrace AI in our day-to-day operations. We have included elements on it in our core systems, such as our customer suite and our service order system. And not to mention our My JPS mobile app. And if you have not downloaded it, I would strongly recommend you do, as it is a great experience and you won't be disappointed. In our My JPS app, we also have elements of AI in the self-reading feature that we have available. And what this does is that customers can submit their reading through photos, and AI now evaluates the photos so that your account is billed accordingly. No agent interaction, no call to JPS. So while AI for us is in the infancy stages, we are exploring incorporating it in our day-to-day business operations. And when I say AI, I'm not talking about the simplistic ways of just rule-based management. We're talking about the exciting things like predictive maintenance, and how can we have chatbots that predict what our customers need. So these are some of the projects that we are exploring as JPS, where we are doing customer retention. We're looking at how our customers are satisfied on the grid and using AI to help identify these customers so that we can better meet their needs. We also can look at predictive maintenance. For example, for our transformers, these are assets that sometimes we do run to failure, not because we don't have the data, but in terms of maintaining it so that we can do early detection, so that we can better serve our customers. So rather customers have a transformer out and they're out of power, we can do quicker maintenance on these assets to keep customers with light. Another way that we will be utilizing AI is the use of chatbots to help serve our customers better. And what that means, instead of picking up the phone to call us, You can now go online and have a conversation with a bot that has been trained and learned in terms of what is the data you would require with us as a customer, and it can anticipate some of your needs so that we can serve you faster and more efficiently. We are also using AI in terms of application development. AI can be used to help develop code so that we can provide applications and solutions much faster. AI will also be a big support for us in how we manage documents efficiently. No longer will be the days of a customer having to submit several documents and resubmit documents for those applications, because we will be utilizing AI in terms of how we process customer applications. So if you have several accounts, there is no longer the headache of resubmitting, and that will help us to serve you, our customers, in a shorter, more efficient time. While this is an exciting time for us at JPS and embracing the opportunities of AI, we have to say that your privacy is still at the forefront of all our conversations, especially with the Data Protection Act. We are well aware as a business of how our customers' privacy is very important, and throughout every step of exploring these opportunities, we look to protect our customers' privacy. As you can see, the possibilities with AI are endless, and we here at JPS are fully embracing this so that we can serve you, our customers, better.
That was from JPS. Thus far, we have gained the perspectives from Digicel, Flow, and JPS. Let us now learn from Tricia Jones, Assistant Vice President, ICT at the National Water Commission, NWC, to learn how AI is applied in NWC's operations.
Here at the National Water Commission, we have fully embraced the new use of technology by not only having a culture that trains people to use emerging technologies, but we have placed a greater emphasis on customer centricity and innovation. Now, as we continue to build our internal capacity by integrating data from all aspects of the business, such as the billing of our customers, emergency management, asset management, and internal business processes, the NWC continues to realign its key business processes to create greater customer value. Let us take a look at our operations. Yes, additionally, operations plays a critical role, and we see AI and machine learning that will add value to responsiveness. With constant learning, alerts become more accurate over time. Operators no longer need to analyze complex variables for important decision making by themselves, whether it's turning pumps on or off, determining chemical dosages, or deciding when to maintain their assets. AI enables that intelligent recommendation as it is driven by machine learning. AI can also optimize pump run times so that they are only using energy when they need to. This in itself can be an easy cost reduction win for the NWC and in turn our customers. AI will also optimize our energy use for water and wastewater operations. It's also time-based maintenance, making it easy to manage, but results in unnecessary uptime and deterioration. Let AI tell your team what assets needs to be serviced and when. And so, what does the future hold for us? Artificial intelligence is a game changer. It has the potential to transform the way we work by making businesses more productive and seamless interaction. Invest in AI. Use it responsibly. Endless possibilities. We want to make it happen. So it is important to prepare ourselves for the infiltration of AI and show how it can enhance each other's operations. Thanks for listening and enjoy the rest of the webinar.
That was from National Water Commission. I realize that many persons would have wanted to think more and explore deeply, but there's a time limit. I have to ask that Dr. Barrett Maitland consider this. The utility regulator is aware of concerns of utility consumers. Can AI factor sensitivity to unique situations? This is going to be a matter for consideration, as in the view of the regulator, the new customer service delivery models adopted by utility providers have been moving towards virtual rather than person-to-person interface. Things like mobile apps, that method. Many senior citizens use 2G capable cell phones, such devices cannot process data like smartphones can. That limits them, of course, in terms of how they can receive virtual information. So can artificial intelligence make certain types of decisions and be sensitive to unique situations, such as our senior citizens who do not have smartphones?
Thank you, Mr. Gordon. One of the drawbacks of AI is that there's no emotion attached to AI. So it cannot determine that this is an old person and they don't understand and things like that. It will just respond based on the information it has and give you the information. Now, that is one of the things that a lot of persons allude to, that moving into AI, into the AI realm, will eliminate the human aspect of our customer service. So, for example, if that person was able to call or relate to somebody face-to-face or in person via the telephone or something, that person would be aware that, I am the customer that I'm relating to is at a party. Maybe that person could actually express to them that I don't understand everything and so on. When you're interacting with the AI, whatever you input, it seeks to find the most appropriate or the closest response related to what you ask to give back to you. So that is one of the drawbacks of artificial intelligence system.
Quite well understood. Thank you so much for that, Dr. Barrett Maitland.
Thank you.
Somebody who's viewing, Avram Thompson, has asked, outside of customer management, does OER consider that there are current practical uses for AI relevant to Jamaica? For example, the smart utility grids. That's a consideration that we will have to take up. The other concern that has been raised is in relation to, and I think perhaps Deputy Director General Lewis can tackle this one, the potential obsolescence of legislation. The example of the Telecoms Act is used as an example here because the legislation was crafted quite a while ago, and there are major technological changes since then. And a workaround was done with the financial sandbox, which resulted in essentially suitable compromises that facilitated the development of the digital financial tools. Might we experience such a legislative drawback and treatment in going forward with AI?
Okay, if I may just go back to the first concern which was expressed by you about the smart grid and whether the regulator is actually embracing it. Yes, the regulator is embracing and encouraging persons to use the technology because of the benefits. We have, for example, in electricity, made special provision for smart meters for customers, because it not just helps customers, it also helps in the utility knowing how much energy and can plan better and that sort of thing. So yes, we are in fact doing so. The second question, now dealing with the outdated legislation, we are quite aware that over the years, the technological changes have been so rapid that it's almost impossible to keep up with. However, we are aware that the government of Jamaica, who is responsible for legislative changes, is in the process of developing new legislation to the extent to which it will take into consideration AI challenges. It's probably problematic because of the changes that are being made so rapidly. But what legislation does is go back to fundamental principles. It goes back to the principles, the basic principles of protection, security, efficiency, and economic growth, and harnessing that for the development. So it is within that context that legislation is usually developed. So that question would have to be really posed to the government of Jamaica to see how effective they are at harnessing AI at this point in time to make legislative changes. And that is why the regulator, in the meantime, will deploy certain principles within its own organization and encourage companies, utility companies, to do so in order to harness the benefits of AI whilst ensuring that the protective guard is kept around it for the benefit of all.
Thank you so much, Deputy Director General Lewis. Before we close, I would like to have one other question posed, and this one goes to Mr. Hamilton, and it is in relation to reputational risk. In half a minute or so, would you be able to explore that idea that you mentioned a little bit more, please, Mr. Hamilton?
Thank you, Gordon. Reputational risk. With the whole issue of deep fakes and the proliferation of websites around the world, the OER has to be conscious of information being put out there, being stated, being coming from the OUR. So in our, whether it is our IT department or in our public affairs department, we have to be monitored, we have to be more vigilant in what we see out on the internet, and try to take down what is not acceptable, and try to come up with a site or location or place where people can go to get information to ensure that the reputation of OER is always kept in a pristine way. So it is going to be, we're going to have to be way more aggressive than we are now. Social media has shown us that people can start putting stories out there and it goes viral, and you have lost the battle before you even start the game. So the OER's reputation has to be kept intact, and the only way to do that is through vigilance.
Understood. Thank you so much. Dr. Nadine Barrett-Maitland, Senior Lecturer at UTech, Jamaica. Leighton Hamilton, Director, Information Technology and Risk at OUR. Cheryl Lewis, Deputy Director General, Consumer and Public Affairs and Legal Affairs at OUR. Our 4 utility executives and their respective corporate communications teams behind the scenes. On behalf of the Office of Utilities Regulation, OUR, thank you for this tremendous investment in your time. Your efforts in updating us to explore ideas on how utility services have been and can continue to use artificial intelligence, AI, to the benefit of utility consumers. Of course, the regulator must and will always be watching to ensure that utility providers use AI and maintain their quality of service, not just boost operational capability and revenue streams. There must be balance. I thank you all. Thank you, viewers, for tuning in. And please mention those who missed the live stream can get the recording on our YouTube or Facebook channel. Thank you so much. Take care.